Hi there, before I get into the video, I just want to make this disclaimer. This video is not to promote gambling in any way. This is just a documentation of my poker career. For the 100% of my viewers who are all 18 plus, you can ignore this, but for the 0% of you who are under the age of 18 or 21, depending on where you're from, please switch off immediately. Thank you. But yeah, before I get into the video, I just want to make some community announcements. My weekly hand reviews, I've stopped doing them. There was just too much to like schedule around because my routine was a little all over the place, trying to fit everything in. So what I'm just going to do instead is I'm going to just kind of pop in the Discord every, few days, maybe even every day, depending on how many hands I get. Yeah, you just pop in the Discord. I'll just come into the voice channel when I'm doing it if you want to. I'm not going to spam announcements to everybody in there. If you want to be notified for hand reviews, though, I'm going to create a new role called Study. And yeah, just ask me and I'll set that role for you up and I'll give you the announcements. Okay, so let's get into the results for February. Before I actually go into it in detail, there is obviously an elephant in the room, which I will address at the end of the video, but for now I'm just going to highlight my results and give you some small updates. So CoinPoker, we had winnings of minus 3.5k. I did decide to employ how much rake I paid in this, just to give you an idea of like the rakeback and how it works kind of thing. And you can kind of do your own maths. Normally I would get like more rakeback per month. However, like in terms of percentage paid for rake, I would get more rakeback. However, this month I've stopped grinding the leaderboards. Not entirely. I've done it a few times, but like I've started focusing a bit more on game selection, which means not leaderboard caching, which means obviously I lose the leaderboard rake back. But I did do a good amount of leaderboard grind, especially at the start of the month. But with that in mind, I lost a total of $740 this month after rakeback. And one thing I did do is I did start playing a new site as I switched to game selecting more. You need to have multiple site options if you're not playing on GG. There just simply isn't enough volume. So yeah, I didn't play anything else but other than online poker. I played on iPoker. I only just started playing. I lost roughly $750 on the table. I got a bit of rake back. I hadn't done a huge volume on this, so I lost about $610 on iPoker. And that gives me a grand total of minus $1,350 or 48 and 8 cents. I played about 99 hours. I had intended to do a little bit more, but unfortunately that didn't happen. I had a nice 7k downswing during the month. At one point, I started the month well, and then I had a big downswing, so like 7-8k, and then coming back towards the end of the month. But at least CoinPoker, a brilliant site. I did get Drive Hub 2, which is it was pretty cheap. It was like $70 for a year, so I just got it because I can like actually upload my hands without having to ask for hands every week. So yeah, that's here's my graph. It's very bad. I could zoom in to make it bigger, but I ain't zooming on this. Look how horrible it is. But I mean, you can kind of see, like, this is kind of like when you're rakeback grinding, you're probably not winning, which I'm probably not. So basically you're below zero win weight when you're just not focusing on game selection and you're just trying to like net the leaderboard points and the rakeback. What you want to look for is you kind of have these periods where it's sort of like break-even-ish period is fine, but then you'll have these like downswings that just come in, and this sort of break-even-ish period, this is like kind of like where the money comes, because like these downswings, like when you have like you have these like 50 buy-in drops, you're just going to be losing. They don't always happen, but they are part of the game, and you can just look on any variance calculator. You'll see them, but you'll see them more if you're losing before rakeback. But like these sort of periods where it's just kind of like break even, you know, so like I stop around here and it doesn't go below that. With the Rakeback, this is where you start to like make your money. And then when you have like I had in the last 6 weeks, um, like I had in January, I had like a bit of an upswing. That's when you like really print. Let's just go over my year-to-date graph. 181 hours. I'm trying to do about 1250 hours a year. Obviously, February doesn't have as many days as other ones, and in January I did have the start of the year. I was like traveling, so you know I lost some time there. But I hope to put in a bit more hours this month. I'll be honest, I kind of feel a little bit like last week, I felt it was like pretty hard to put the volume in. The studying was there, the volume wasn't. But you know, I had off-table stuff to deal with, unfortunately. So yeah, the hours not quite as high as kind of a story of my life, but I get better at it. Like I'm still putting in 90 hours a month. It's still pretty decent volume. I want to do a bit more, but March is a good opportunity to do more volume. We obviously do need to take breaks at certain points, but March is not the time to do it. And these are like some stats. There's only 2 months in the year, so not much to say at this point. Nice little. I think this is like less than minimum wage in America, but at least it's tax free. So for now. So in conclusion, downswing month. As I mentioned, hope for some more volume, off-table stuff going away. But yeah, I mentioned I was doing quite a lot of studying. As I've mentioned before, I haven't really been happy with the results that I've had. It's still been profitable, but you know, I'm just not happy. I'm not happy where my game is. I'm like, there are just things that I think poker's been changing the last couple of years. I noticed when you just like, I was focusing more on volume and like just drilling basic spots and like not really observing how the game has changed too much. And I really feel like my game got a bit exposed. That's why my win rate isn't as high as I want. I wanted it to be higher, which is why I've been doing it since basically December. I've been really putting in extra study work, whereas before I wasn't. You know, I was still putting in some, you know, 4 or 5 hours a week as average studying, but a lot of it was just drills of stuff of my current strategies. So now I'm like really rebuilding my game in certain spots, trying to really like change how I play different nodes. Like there was a time where there were certain things I just never did because I just didn't see any proof that they made money, like having bluffs in certain spots, or bluff catching in certain spots just didn't like make money ever. So I never ever called or bluffed those spots, and that's was good when it was working. But the game's changes. People are finding bluffs in spots, and they're over bluffing spots in lines that they never used to 5 years ago. You know, when I started being like even just playing professionally, like 3 years ago, people were never bluffing in certain spots. I mean, there's still loads of spots people don't bluff in, and loads of spots people over bluff. And there's loads of spots where people don't fold, and there's loads of spots where they overfold. But like they're different, so I had to like really work on my studying and really sort of try and rebuild my game plan in a lot of areas just to be better. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Other things, I lost some weight, which is good. I have some weight goals to achieve. I'm not really overweight or anything. I'm just a couple of. I probably could do with losing 10 pounds. You know. Yeah, and then I have some major decisions to make this month in regards to where I play in my entire career. I'm going to go into it a bit more. A lot of my video is going to be talking about specifically one decision, but now my video is going to be split into another decision. So I was going to be talking a lot about how I'm transitioning from leaderboard grind into game selection, which, I mean, when I started this channel, I was game selection on GG. I moved into leaderboard grinding because I got sick of GG. And this was just a place where I just looked at this way it was set up and I just thought, wow, I mean, there's just money to be made here without the effort of break of like game selecting. Yeah, so I came here. You know, I have made money. It hasn't gone as well as I hoped, but I've still made money. Like I hope to have made like 10, 15K more, but I still made money. So, you know, we all hope to win more than we actually do win sometimes. But yeah, I mean, leaderboard grind, you know, it's pretty capping. You can burn out, obviously. You know, I got pretty used. There are definitely advantages. I find like scheduling. It's nice to know when you're just going to get up and play for 4 hours, take a break, and then you try and get that other session in on a few days a week, and you can get a good volume in. And going back to game selecting, I actually have been doing it the last couple of weeks. I found it really difficult to like keep to a schedule and make a schedule, because now it's kind of like, well, just get on and play when you know you're ready to play. And you know, I just waste time in the mornings. I waste time when I get up. You know, I waste time after I finish studying. You know, it's just hard to get like back into that flow. Um, but it takes a few weeks to adapt, but I will adapt. And then the other thing I was going to talk about was like staking as well, like personal financial reasons. I want to potentially look to get staked. Now that's a big decision because it would eat into my hourly to begin with. Obviously, when you do get a stake, you have the opportunity to move up much quicker, which is something I really wanted to do. However, the games aren't as good as they were a few years ago, but they're never going to get better. So you do it now, or you do it never. But yeah, I'm not broke. However, you know, staking is just a decision that you have to make. It's kind of one. It's actually one of the. It's like taking a career decision. It's like, you know, do I change jobs? You know, do I change hours? Do I do this? Do I work these days? I have to involve everybody. I have to involve my family in this decision. Well, my family being my fiance, but you know, it's a very personal decision, which I have to weigh up the pros and cons. But I'm lucky enough to have people that are willing to back me, which is just great. I'm grateful for, in and itself. So that's something to, you know, I could talk about. But for now, not really. No decisions have been made, but they will be made soon. Coaching, I'm still offering coaching. Some people have come and I've coached them. I'm trying to get better at coaching. I don't offer a large amount per hour. I could probably get better, like help people in different ways more, but you know, nobody's like publicly shamed me, so that's good. Yeah, and then I was going to be talking about CoinPoker's promotion, 100% Rakeback promo. I think it's going to, towards the next few weeks, they're going to change it so that they're going to release it. The second part is going to be just like they do splash pots and things like this, but you know, basically 100% of so basically you're not paying for a couple of weeks. You'd be playing like rake free, but then the second part is kind of like, you know, maybe there's more variance involved, like it's going to be leaderboards, it's going to be like splash pots kind of thing. So they're going to return 100% of the rake made, but you know, you're not guaranteed to get it back yourself. But you know, because as this video is recording, they are actually doing a software launch today, and it's going to go live in, you know, 4 or 5 hours. However, as I was, you know, just writing this thing and planning to record the video, they suddenly announced CoinPoker rake increases, and I'm just going to go and grab the information and show you, just so we can compare. This is the rake, hasn't been updated yet. This is the rake what it used to be. You can see it was the second best, well, on 50 now. But like if we go through like the different stakes, so the stake levels that are relevant for me, 200 now. It's the second best, 5% $3 cap. That's a 1.5. Not a 1.5 big blind cap, is it? Yeah. Yeah, 1.5 big blind cap. My brain just went dead. 500 now. It was, you know, not as good, but you know, still a 0.8 big blind cap. So you know, it's like in the middle of the pack, but you know, it's very competitive. It's like what you expect, you know, from a website. It's not up in the old GG poker $8 per cap, you know, 5.5. And remember, GG has jackpot rake too, a 2BB, whereas here it's just like it's in that middle solid bit, so it's, you know, still like 2 BB per 100 lower. These are like the most relevant formats for me. So yeah, this is the new Rake. Yeah, let's just click on low stakes, and you can see now 5-player cap. Obviously they have these like ones, if you're free 400 or heads up you get lower Rake, but like the 5-player cap is now on 50, and now for example that is 8 big blinds. Let's have a look at what it was before. It was $2, so that is 4 big blinds, so it's doubled. And just for context, that is the same as GG. And then mid stakes, so they got better. Well, 200 now. $5 cap is now 3 big blinds. That's $6. As you saw down here, that is doubling. That is the same as GG. So they've basically overnight, without announcing anything, they have, well, as far as I know, they didn't announce it. They certainly didn't make it public knowledge. They didn't just excitedly post an announcement. Just by the way, guys, we've doubled our Rake to GG poker levels. But yeah, new software's coming along. Yeah, overnight they've doubled their Rake basically. Yeah, and this is, you know, it's basically just saying to me, oh, by the way, could you take a 2 BB per 100 pay cut? Or, you know, that could translate, because my average buy-in is somewhere around just over, it's around 220, so that's $2.2. And I play like easily over 600 hands an hour, maybe 5. Well, lately I don't, because I've been game selecting, but you know what it would translate to, like a leaderboard grinder, is it's like saying to them, you know, you, by the way, you can have a $15 per hour pay cut, you know. And for someone, even someone like me, it's still like a pay cut. It's like, you know, it's a big deal basically. The only way to counteract it is if they have really good promos. Most of the promos are just going to be top heavy for leaderboard players, like high volume grinders. That's not for everybody. Majority of people are not high volume grinders. Or they just have a lot more recreational players, and they're running a 100% rake free promo. And the new software launch. Now they will get some new recreational players, don't get me wrong, but they're also going to have a massive amount of rakes that are transitioning from GG, because GG recently changed their Rakeback to be off system to be even worse. Like most people were getting probably 30 to 40% net Rakeback on GG. I think it's just gone down to like 20, like 25% or just something as their standard. So like people have just lost out on like more rakes. So more of the rakes are looking to get away from GG. And are being squeezed. And then Coin have come along and offered this great thing, and then the race like, oh, this is going to be brilliant. Like they had a great opportunity to take a massive amount of the market share, or at least from the regs perspective from GG, because recreationals don't really care about rake that much. Maybe a little bit, but not that much. And then they, you know, and now they've done this, and like it's just massively disappointing for everyone. And I've been playing on Coin for ages. Yeah, it's just massively disappointing. And now, obviously, I just want to say I don't know too much about running a poker site. Obviously, there's, you know, they've spent money on, they're doing a massive like change in their software, so they would have spent a lot of money upgrading their software. They've got to run their day to day, and like the way the system was kind of working, like for players like me, I was paying almost no rake. Like I crunched some numbers the other day, for my staking application, and like I probably paid like 40k in rake since I've been on the site, but I've probably got like most of that back in Rakeback. Like I would say like 80 to 90% of that is like I've got that in Rakeback. So what that translates to is I've grinded like probably like 350k, maybe 400k hands on this site, and I've paid like 5k in rake, which is crazy. Like, so, you know, and they've got, you know, that's 6 or 7. Oh god, I just said it. That's 6 or 7 months of volume right there. But yeah, and like long term, my strategy was to like Coin was going to be a site I was going to play on. You know, for this even when I went to America and I have more options for better websites, like I was still going to play on Coin. That's how much I thought it was beneficial. Like I rated the site that highly, and now they've just like it's completely gone. And this is just a screenshot here. This is like the Discord. The Discord like went mad and berserk. I posted my 2 cents. But like this is how I complained about their software being buggy to them before, and I just got like a couple of months ago I got memed on. Like it took like half an hour for me to get a serious response where someone said, "Oh yeah, we don't actually do feedback. You have to email support." And I was like, "Oh okay, well, what's the point of having a Discord then?" But like their admins are just so like they're so annoying to deal with. Like this is an example. This guy Stevie XI, he asks question: Do you have any info about the new Rakeback system after market? I like they reduced blah blah blah. So he gives some feedback, and he goes, "You get 2 goodies." Then memeing, more memeing hoodie, memeing, no answer. And then Dudowiz comes in with a statement, and then they posted some defensive stuff about that, which is fair enough. You know, they've got to do their jobs. Like, I'm not doing it, but like, this is the kind of attitude that their mods have. Like, I never publicly comment. I just have opinions, but like, they've had to come in and defend this absolute PR disaster, and then their mods are just memeing on people that have genuine questions. They're just really like, I really dislike their moderating support on Coin, like, and that's fair. Like, I can be fair to say that. Like I understand that poker's a, you know, it's a business to be run, and like the bottom line is the most important thing to companies. And as poker players, our job is to protect our own interests, and their job is to protect their interests. Now maybe it's in their interest to double the rake. Maybe it's not. Like maybe they'll double the rake and they'll still like they'll make loads and loads of money and it will work really well for them, but it doesn't work well for people like me who get squeezed. But that's fine, that's up to them. They're the ones who make the site. I don't have to play there. I can take my money off. I don't have to lament, oh, they're so greedy. You know, they've given me somewhere to play. I took that opportunity, I made money. You know, that's fine, that's life. But like, it's just I just want to like tell people, you know, I'm 35, I've been around the blocks. Like, never look at a site and get your hopes up and be like, oh, they're transparent, oh, they really care about the player. Nobody cares about they care about money, and that's just the bottom line. Like people be like, oh, I get to speak to like ambassadors in the community and they're really transparent with me. Like Benner Badbeat is one of my friends. I really like Benner. Gazzy B, I really respect Gazzy B. Like these are people who they care about the poker, but like they're ambassadors for Coin, and they have to manage like this awkward relationship. But the truth is that like they don't give a. They're paying the ambassadors for a reason. They're like lobbyists at a parliament. You know, they pay lobbyists, the Congress, Parliament, whatever, to pay your and the representative has to like not shit on publicly how badly they operate the system against your interests. And that's what lobbyists do, and that's what ambassadors kind of sort of have to. Now, Benner's not like that as a person, but that's what they have. They kind of have to. They kind of get these these like messages, and they're like, oh, I kind of have to, you know, balance that because I make money from these guys, but I kind of want to, you know, I have to balance that. So, you know, as long as they get enough of a sort of like, oh, well, we're increasing the rake and fucking all the pros over, but you know, we're going to make these really cool promos, like, and then you know they kind of have to sit there in an awkward spot. I respect that, and I respect people for having, and I respect the site that the site is, you know, run for profit. They've got investors to pay, stockholders, stakeholders to pay. I mean, they're technically unregulated and they probably don't pay tax, but we won't talk about that. But like, it's all. Don't ever put your trust into a website and be like, these guys are great. You're gonna get a site's gonna be good to grind on for a while. Then it's gonna change, and you gotta go find the next spot. And that's what you do in poker. That's your life. If you like are, I'd say lucky, but also good enough or work hard enough to get to the next, you know, make the right decisions to like have a huge bankroll, and like you can have other options, then you know that's really good. If you're in my position, where you're like kind of considering you might have to spend like a large like chunk of your bankroll. Um, you know, it's different. You know, I'm a grinder. I'm a poker player. I love playing poker. I don't want to change playing poker for anything else. Obviously, at some point, I might not be able to make much money, and I might have to go and work a real job, which would suck. But you know, I still think there's plenty of games out there that are beatable. But you know, this is just very like sad news. Yeah, that's my rant over. Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to like cut to this slide, but I forgot to whilst I was ranting. Yeah, just sort of overnight, explaining my thoughts. My general thoughts, I just told you them. Yeah, so that's the reality of the situation with the CoinPoker Rake increases. What are my plans? I'm going to go and play their 100% Rakeback games for the promotion. I'm going to see what happens in the latter part of March with the promotions. See if it's worth playing, and if not, I'm going to leave and probably go and play on ACR. I might even look at going back to GG. So, you know, these are, you know, three things that will probably happen. I'm not even like crazy. I might even consider going to play live. Like that's what the situation is. And live in the UK is like pretty grim, but like it's pretty. You know, the games are always going to be good in live, and you get, you know, at least you can make like the same money as, because online is getting worse. Like sadly, um, and that's just the reality of poker at the moment. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I'll keep. Oh, I have more videos to come out in the over the month. More technical videos, plain explains, hands reviews, like drilling spots. You know, I'll keep posting until I hit 1,000 subscribers. I would like to hit 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I wish everyone the best.